Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, I've got a bunch of news for you. We're talking about PlayStation Vita, Nintendo Switch, a controller, the Steam Deck 2, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about PlayStation Vita emulation with Vita 3K. Now, I talked about Vita 3K's update in yesterday's video, but I wasn't very specific. I accidentally cut out the part that I wanted to show. So as of this video, the latest build for Vita 3K is build 2805. And this one brings about Vulkan rendering. So in older builds of Vita 3K, if you go into the settings menu and click on GPU, you should be greeted with this menu. And in the new version of Vita 3K, if you go into the settings menu, click on GPU, you should be greeted with this menu. And we can see the very first option says OpenGL, and we can change that to Vulkan if we want. Now, if you wanted to check out the Vulkan backend, after you select it here, hit save and close out Vita 3K and reopen it. Then go back into the GPU settings and you can now change it from automatic to whatever GPU you've got. I think it's awesome that Vita 3K got Vulkan, and I'm really curious to see what happens with it moving forward. Will the Vulkan renderer be the way moving forward, kind of like Yuzu and Ryujinx in terms of overall performance, or will OpenGL be king? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about Vulkan, next up here we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Skyline. Skyline's got yet another version. As of this video, version 1332 just dropped, and now we've got a new game that works with it. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is up and running, and technically playable. It's running at about 30 frames per second. It is a little bit slow, the textures are a little bit off, but this is a pretty big improvement. Someone has Super Mario Odyssey up and running between 40 to 50 frames per second, and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is, I wouldn't say this is playable, but it's booting and in-game. Now, about a half a year ago, Switch emulation on Skyline wasn't anywhere near the level it is today. This is awesome, and I can't wait to see what happens with the next update. Next up here, we're talking about multi-system emulator Mednafen. Mednafen stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or it stands for My Emulator Doesn't Need a Frickin' Excellent Name. It's entirely up to you on how you want to interpret that. Now, Mednafen just got a brand new update, and it's the first update in about 7 months. This update is version 1.31.0-unstable. On their GitHub, there's an absolutely massive changelog. Overall, this one is a pretty big update. I'm not going to read through this entire changelog here because there's a lot of stuff and we'd be here forever, so I'll go over it at a high level and I'll drop a link to this in the description below. So a lot of these updates include bug fixes and emulation accuracy improvements. For example, PCFX here, they've expanded the external backup memory from 32 kilobytes to 128 kilobytes. And this matches the amount of memory in an FX BMP. For SNES, they've added in mouse emulation. For Sega Saturn here, they've added experimental support for STV games. So here's the full list of supported STV games, and there are quite a few in here. For example, Golden Axe The Duel and Virtua Fighter Remix. And a friendly heads up here, if you've never used Mednafen before, if you download it and try to open up the executable file, it's not going to work for you. Mednafen doesn't have a GUI and everything is done through the command line. This can be a headache for quite a few people, so I recommend if you're trying to use Mednafen for the first time, check out Mednaf or Mednafi. I'm not quite sure on how to say that right. I'll drop a link in the description below. You can also check out Mednafen through another front end like Launchbox. Moving on, and this one's pretty quick. It looks like Amazon Mexico might have screwed up just a little bit when they unveiled the brand new Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. This one hasn't been officially announced yet, but here's what it looks like, and apparently it's coming out September 21st. Amazon Mexico has since taken down the posting, but it was a little bit too late because a ton of people saw this. I'm really excited for this brand new Xbox controller. I'm a big fan of Xbox controllers. I think they work great with Android. I think they work great in general. So I'm really curious to see how this one turns out. Hopefully it's not too expensive. Last up here, we're talking about the Steam Deck, specifically the successor to the Steam Deck 2. I don't know if that's going to be the official name, but Valve is working on a successor. It is worth pointing out that this information is incredibly early on and completely not specific. We don't know the new Steam Deck's features, we don't know the internals of it, we don't know anything about it. except there is going to be one. You can check this out right on Steam's website. I'll drop a link in the description below. They have a Steam Deck booklet, and it's available in a bunch of different languages. Pretty much everything you need to know is right at the end of the document, page 26 of 27, at least in the English version. They say Steam Deck represents the first in a new category of Steam handheld gaming PCs. In the future, Valve will follow up on this product with improvements and iterations to hardware and software, bringing new versions of the Steam Deck to market. They also state this is a multi-generational product line. Valve will support Steam Deck and SteamOS well into the foreseeable future. We will build new versions to be even more open and capable than the first version of the Steam Deck has been. I don't know what they mean by that. Is it going to be easier to mod? Are there going to be interchangeable parts? I'm not quite sure what they mean by more open. What I do know though is that the Steam Deck has been a smash hit. It's an amazing piece of hardware. A lot of people love it. I love it. And I can't wait to see more people get their hands on one in the future. I can't wait to see what Valve is going to do with this. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point. All stuff and no fluff. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below, and we did talk about quite a bit. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.